All right, guys, Ubisoft just announced a new season coming to Rainbow Six Siege Crystal Guard. We're getting a new operator and a bunch of reworks. Guys, overall thoughts on the new operator, Osa. Nate, why don't you start us off?
Okay, so we're getting a new shield operator.
Yeah.
And this shield operator is quite unique. Her shield can be deployed on the ground, kind of like a deployable shield. But the major difference is here is that it's fully transparent and you can actually launch this thing in doors and windows. So, and a big thing, we were kind of discussing this off screen is, can she do it with a fully reinforced door, or does it have to be punched out or broken already? Well, good news is you can kind of stealth your way in, and if there's a wooden door that has been untouched, then you can slap your shield in there, and I don't know. I think this is actually going to bring quite a bit of diversity with the attack, because alongside this new operator, we're getting a whole bunch of reworks on maps and other operators from the original 20 operators. So this is all great news, guys. So first impressions, I'm excited, man. What about you, Corey?
You know what? This is kind of a big update for Siege. We're getting a new character as an attacker with a transparent bulletproof shield that she can deploy into windows, and it leaves a bit of a gap at the top. So I mean, like we talked about earlier, Drew, it's one of those things where you can rappel from the top down and look in still. You could throw nades through, but again, because that hole's there, I mean, attackers can throw C4s through, or sorry, defenders can throw C4s back through. There's all different kinds of strategies I think that will come into play, especially when people are exposing, the bomb rooms with one of these windows, and now they're going to get a view into the bomb room. And I can just see people, especially early on, once this starts to get implemented, will start to scramble in these rooms, right? Or try to just, blow it out with an impact or a C4. So Nate said it, there's going to be a lot of diversity here as far as how people are going to approach playing this game with this new operator. It'll be really interesting to see kind of how people start to use her, because there's going to be people that are going to find ways to use her that are going to be really annoying. And the fact that she can set this shield up kind of anywhere, and that versatility in a character is going to be pretty difficult to deal with as a defender. And I mean, sometimes as defending, it's not always easy, especially when these new characters get introduced and you're dealing with some of these new strategies. So honestly, I'm excited for this update. Like Nate said, we're getting a ton of kind of changes, whether it's maps or operators. There's a lot of things happening here, and I think it's all, in the right direction. Siege always does a good job with this, but this one just seems to be kind of overhauling a lot of things people were looking to change.
Absolutely. I think I would totally agree with that, Corey. It's I saw this whole rework of everything they're talking about, bringing in the new operator, changing up some of the maps and the designs there, and actually affecting some of the operators' outcome on what they're doing now too, with Fuse, IQ, and a couple others, right? So there's a lot of things that we're seeing now implemented that we've been looking forward to having someday, and now that they're finally happening. I think Osa is a cool operator, the fact that she can hold her shield too and like bring it in. But if you want to hit her with an impact, right, there goes her shield. But the minute she deploys that, man, like this is really going to change up the game a lot. I want to quickly touch on the new maps as well. The new maps over on, well, not new maps, but the reworks for some of these maps, right? Like Coastline, we all been in Hookah, and then the one room behind us with that big window is now being closed off. What a significant change that's going to make it. So I don't know how many times I got picked off from that window, man.
So that one's a bad spot.
Absolutely, right? And then you get into Bank, they're closing off the windows up top. No longer can you snipe through anymore. I thought that was pretty good. And then Clubhouse is getting an extra doorway over at the bar area and allowing for some different rotations to happen and take place as well. So some exciting stuff. Now let's get into the actual operator changes. I think this is one of the most exciting parts. Not only are we getting Osa, which seems to have some cool utility to her, and I think I'm pretty excited to check out how she's going to change up the game as a whole. But one of the other biggest changes I think we've all been looking for, we just mentioned this off camera, but this should have happened like a long time ago, is that Twitch, her drone can now jump, which is the biggest change, right, Corey?
Finally.
Oh man, I think so. With her drone being able to jump now, her drone doesn't have a sort of a tase ability. It's actually a freaking laser beam. So it does 5 damage now with infinite range. This drone can jump and it destroys gadgets or utility. Instead of like some of them, I think bulletproof cameras for instance, it would just disable them. So now you're getting full destruction with her, you know, with her drone. And this is just something we've needed. Thatcher is by far the most used and or banned operator when it comes to his utility, right? Like Callie's up there, but she's high level skill with that sniper rifle. So just I think this is a great addition and something that like you said, Corey, Twitch has needed for a long time. But let's move into IQ now, because her ability, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where a lot of people, like very few people use it because there's so many good attacking operators, and you know, just being able to see where the bomb is or where gadgets are and not be able to tell where your team wasn't very useful. But now you can actually ping all the gadgets with her ability.
Yeah, that's a really great move because again, she's one of the OG operators, hasn't had many changes throughout all these seasons we've had in Rainbow Six so far, and it's finally kind of giving her this level of utility that may allow her to be put into some of these matches. People may be more inclined to use her. Being able to pick out opposing teams' operators that have electronic devices on them, like people like Vigil and stuff like that, I think is going to be a huge advantage, right? They had to give her kind of this edge that, you know, really was never there. I mean, she had that gadget, but like you said, Nate, there's just so many better operators to choose that have abilities that are more helpful to the team or just more useful overall. So I think being able to have those changes for her is going to kind of bring another element, bring her into the fold a little more, maybe make it onto more 5-man rosters, maybe not into the pro leagues or anything like that, but I mean, especially into the, you know, the casual play and the playing that we do. It's just, you know, it'll be nice to see her kind of mixed in again, because this game's all about the variety. So if we're getting new operators and bringing old operators that are underused and putting them kind of in the spotlight again, I think that's a good thing for this game. It really switches things up.
Well,
man, if we're squatting up, now we can save our drones from sacrificing them to try to find the bomb room or just try to find or figure out who the operators are. You know, you have an IQ on there, and she can figure it out right away at the start of the map, and she locates her bombs already. So, like, I don't know, man. I think this is a great thing for IQ. And actually, if I could just ask for one thing for her, man, they just need to make her AUG a little smaller. It takes up, like, almost half of your screen, man, and it's like my favorite gun. So if they could do that, then she might be one of my favorites. But sorry, Drew, what were you gonna say there a moment ago?
Well, I was gonna say, moving on to one last operator getting a couple changes is Fuse. We see him bombarding us everywhere as it is, and while they actually just stepped that up one more time, because now he can set his fuse charges on reinforced walls. Man, this guy is just going to be banned every single time you turn around now. I don't think anybody's ever going to see Fuse. When he does place the charge on a reinforced wall, it does take a little bit longer, giving you the ability as a defender to shoot his charge out. Great, but still, like, the guy's just unstoppable now.
Oh yeah, man.
You can't go through a reinforced wall. Sorry, Nate. I'm so shook as far as all the updates in this one go in the patch notes. You read that and you're like, he didn't need that. I mean, if you play Fuse, you're probably pretty excited. But if you play Fuse in ranked, you may not be that excited. Like you said, Drew, I think he's gonna get banned like crazy. Yeah. Unless it's so slow that it just, you know, he can only shoot 1 or 2 pucks off before, you know, it gets really bad. But I mean, the fact that he's gonna be able to set that off on reinforced walls, soft walls, there's not enough Jaeger devices out there to stop it now, let alone being able to do it through reinforced walls.
Man. Not four charges, man. If with this update, if they nerfed it maybe to 2 to 3,
I was thinking
depending
3.
on how slow and loud this thing is, then maybe. But 4, man, like you said, Drew, this character's gonna be banned all the time. And I think one thing though, I would love to, like, I'm really excited to see how all these operators, including the newest operator, are going to be used in Pro League, because that's where you really see how these characters can be used. And with all these adjustments, I'm super excited.
Absolutely. Well, there's just a few of the changes. We covered most of them. There's still more on the way. Hit us up InsideTheGame.ca. Let us know what you think of all the changes coming to Siege.
Our agents may have their skill sets, but my designs, they give us the edge in the field.